Yo, what's good with y'all boys, man? It's your boy Charles from the CG Sports Podcast. Today we got a special guest on here, my boy Big Squeak.
It's good, boys.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Today we're going to be doing our top two players at every position for the 2020-2021 season, and we're going to see how our picks match up and do a little bit of debating. So we're going to go from point guard to center. Squeak, I'll let you start us off here.
All right, so my number 2 point guard has to be Trae Young. I think he's a great go-to guard with the ball. He could score, he could go to the basket, and he could pass. I mean, he does average about 30 points, averaging 29.6 a game, and he does throw about 10 assists. So I mean, he is a straight-up dime. The defense can lack, but when you need him, he's there. So I think he's definitely a go-to point guard for me.
All right, well, I was not expecting that. My number 2 point guard is Damian Lillard, without a doubt. The man can shoot from half court. He's a dribble god. He's a dimer. He can finish. He can do it all, and he's a pretty solid defender. He can guard the 1 and 2. And he's a good-sized guard for the modern NBA. So he's my number 2 guard.
I'm gonna have to cut you off there. That's my number 1 guard. Actually, the reason why I say this is because, yes, you got the Westbrooks, you got all that, but Damian Lillard is literally a better version of Westbrook. I know some people are going to hate about how I say, but Damian Lillard could slash, Damian Lillard could shoot, Damian Lillard could play make, and Damian Lillard could play defense.
That's
top
facts.
things you need in a guard. I mean, he's won multiple games by himself with game buzzers. He's carried the team on his back. I don't even know his game points. He averages 30 points a game. He averages like 5 rebounds, and he can throw up to like 20 assists a game. I mean, he is the go-to point guard and probably the best in the league right now.
Bro, to me, he's Russell Westbrook with a jump shot, and even just his mentality on the court, like he's got like that dog mentality that you see like Westbrook and Marcus Smart and Jimmy Butler, Pat Bev, all those guys. He has that dog mentality. And yo, speaking of dogs, yo, who's making the guest appearance right now?
My dog. I think she's going to climb up.
All right. So what my number 1 guard is Luka Doncic.
That's a W guard.
I want to know why Luka's not on your list. Is what I need to know.
Okay, Luka's not on my list only for the reason of I don't like Luka. I know it's weird to say, okay, Luka is a go-to scorer, but in my eyes of a point guard, I see Trae Young and Damian Lillard doing it better than he does.
Yeah, but if we're talking about a true point guard, I can see you taking Trae Young, Damian Lillard over Luka Doncic, but I feel like in the modern NBA, it's really ran by the taller guards. You look at the best players in the league. You got Giannis, he's a taller guard. LeBron James, he's a taller guard. You look at Luka, he's a taller guard. The league is ran by taller players, and I feel like players like Trae Young, or you look at Isaiah Thomas, Kemba Walker, Chris Paul, these shorter guards, even Rondo, Pat Bev, Kyle Lowry, I can go on. These shorter guards, they're not going to last in the long term if the league keeps going the way it is. So for me, I took Luka just because of his size and his ability to play on all 3 levels.
Okay, now I can agree with you on that one, but just the names you said, Kyle Lowry, Kyrie, Patrick Bev, all of them, they're doing it though. They're in the league, they're starting, they're making the money, and they're making the fans that they need, and I don't think anything's going wrong with the smaller point guards at the moment.
No, for now, smaller point guards can still make an impact in the league. But think about guys like you look at Peyton Pritchard, right? You know him from the Celtics. He's their backup point guard. They just drafted him. He's right at 6'1". You go back 5 years ago, he could probably be a first-round draft pick, but because of the way the league has evolved and the idea of taller guards coming into the league, he went in, I believe, the 3rd round that the Celtics picked him up. So I just feel like in general, smaller guards can still get it done. Like obviously, like we said, Chris Paul, Kemba Walker, Kyle Lowry, all still solid in the league. But you got to think those guys are all older. Think of besides Trae Young. Trae Young he gets a pass because he's a shorter guard that came in more recently. But other than Trae Young, there's not a young guard that's doing it like he is, if they're not at least 6'4" tall. I mean, you look at all the young guards that are dominating the league right now. You look at Ja Morant, he's 6'4". Luka, he's 6'6". Just tons of young guards in the league. You gotta have size now, and those shorter guys can still get it done. But for how long is the real question for me.
It's a good question. I'm gonna let you start with the shooting guard of your number 2 pick.
Okay, well, my number 2 pick, I thought this was a close one. There was a lot of guys that could get on there, especially this season. I feel like a lot of players at the 2 guard have shown out, but I had to go with Devin Booker as my number 2.
Okay, I can agree with you on this one, but I took a risky shot on an underrated player that you would never think of putting. Actually, my first thought was Devin Booker, but after just thinking about it, I had to put my number 2 spot at Bradley Beal.
See, that's my number 3. He's my number 3.
Why I'm saying Bradley Beal is because without John Wall last year, he was averaging 35 points.
Yeah, he was going crazy.
With 5 assists and 5 rebounds, that's an insane amount of numbers from someone you wouldn't look as an all-star. I would think John Wall, he carried the team from past years. But when John Wall was injured, you need that next man to step up, and Bradley Beal did the best job he could. And I think without Bradley Beal, the Wizards weren't doing it.
Well, I feel like Bradley Beal, with his situation in the Wizards, obviously his whole career he's been there. John Wall has been the guy, and I feel like he's kind of been put in the shadows. Like, you look at like another example that would be maybe like Klay Thompson in Golden State. Ever since he came in, it's been Steph Curry's team, and he's always been that number 2 guy. But I promise you put Klay on his own team the same way Bradley Beal got his own team this year, and they show out. So I feel like Bradley Beal's always been a solid shooting guard, but I feel like he never really had the opportunity to prove himself because he was always, in that number 2 spot. But I could see putting him at number 2. I think we know who both of us put at the number 1 shooting guard here.
Yeah, definitely James Harden.
Okay, yeah.
Definitely James Harden.
You can't even doubt that.
Star, 40 points a game, 7 assists, which is rare, and 7 rebounds. That's just a breakout.
Yeah, and
he's a two-way threat. I mean,
yeah, and
he's really a two-way threat.
He's also the only player with a 60-point triple-double in the history of the NBA, which is honestly unreal.
After getting traded to the Brooklyn Nets, first game, no chemistry, never had a practice, plays his first game, and averages, a triple-double? That's insane.
He put up, I'm pretty sure he put up 24, 11, and 10 in his first game. And even with that, KD still dropped 42.
Exactly.
So
all right, I'm gonna let you start the small forward. I think we both have the same 1 and 2, but I want to hear your number 2 first.
My number 2 is KD.
Okay, see, I didn't agree.
Your 2 is LeBron?
My 2 is LeBron, for the simple reason of KD has been injured for 2 years straight? 1 year straight?
2 years.
I don't remember that. It's 2 years, but KD has been injured for 2 years straight. Comes back this season and is putting up ridiculous numbers, averaging close to 35 points a game, off 2 years without playing a single NBA basketball game. That's insane numbers, and I'm gonna be honest, LeBron is not doing it the way he is right now in Brooklyn.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you here. I took LeBron off the simple fact. Listen, KD's been phenomenal. I will never doubt it. KD, in my opinion, is the best scorer of all time, without a shot of a doubt. He's the only player I think I would say in NBA history that can score from every spot on the court and shoot probably 40+% from anywhere on the court. And listen, I'm not doubting his ability. I took LeBron over him simply for the reasoning of LeBron. He's been in the league longer. You cannot tell me LeBron has slowed down a single bit since he came into the league in 03.
Nope.
And LeBron has become a better shooter and an even better passer than he already was. Braun, he's a floor general, he's a leader, and he's the most durable player in the league. And I know a lot of people talk about, oh, he left the game for cramps, all that other stuff. Listen, stuff like that happens. I can understand that, how you would use that against him, but LeBron is the most durable player. He's never been injured for more than a month straight, ever, in his entire career. And you got to keep in mind, this dude is 37 years old now. 37 years old. He's been in the league. He spent over half of his life in the NBA. And this dude is still doing it. He's still the best, in my opinion, still the best player in the league at the age of 37. And when you look at the way the league has evolved, his ability to evolve to the way the game does and move with the league, and it's similar to what you've seen with guys like, you look at Giannis, or even if you want to go with an older one, you look at Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant, when he came in the league, he was a slasher with a little bit of a mid-range jumper, but his three-pointer was not consistent. But as you look into the later years in his career, he evolved his game to roll with the league, and I think LeBron's ability to do that is just unmatched. That's the simple reason why he's over KD for me.
Agreed. So, as you could tell, I have KD at first, he has KD at second. LeBron at first for you, LeBron at second for me, so I mean that's not really go over.
Yeah, but that's not really a surprise. I mean I think everyone has the same 2 small forwards. There's not really another guy you could put in there.
Great. You want me to start at power forward?
Yeah, you got.
Okay, I have a real heat seeker here. I don't think anyone would expect coming out of my mind of this. I'm gonna have to take the number 2 spot at John Collins from the Atlanta Hawks.
My number 2 spot was Anthony Davis.
I don't know who you have at number 1 because that's not my number 1. But why John Collins is because
you're forgetting a.
Trae Young do it. I might be forgetting somebody, but I'm gonna put John Collins there for the simple reason of he averaged 15.7 rebounds and he passed the ball.
No,
Now,
he
mind you,
is. He is. He's a
he
great player.
averaged a lot of blocks, and I think he is a two-way scoring machine. He can get to the basket. He can shoot, but I'd rather see him get strong to the rim and take it because he is a threat in the paint.
So the reason I took for just to simply put why I take Anthony Davis over John Collins at number 2. Anthony Davis, he's taller for one. John Collins is only 6'9" at the power forward, and when he matches up against some of those bigger guys, I mean, he's a solid defender, but he's a little undersized for the position, and you got to be a really skilled player to be undersized. You only see a few guys that are undersized. There are guys like PJ Tucker you see play the power forward. Draymond Green plays the power forward. There's a couple guys that can get away with playing it shorter. I don't think John Collins is one of those guys, but I do think he's a phenomenal player. But Anthony Davis is just on a whole nother level. The man is he's the one of the best paint defenders in the league. He can score from inside. He has a midi. He could pick and pop. He shoots 40% from 3. That's just about as good as any solid 3-point shooter in the league. He's shooting as good as guards now, and it's I can't even believe that he's where is he? Is he your number 1?
Yes, he's my number 1.
So I guess the name Giannis did not cross your mind.
Okay, so for Giannis, I put him at small forward. Only for the simple reason of because nowadays you see the small forwards, KD, LeBron, they're all running the point. So I wouldn't put Giannis at the power forward only because Giannis is running the point for the Bucks.
No,
That's my reason.
he is, but you could say the same thing about LeBron. But listen, you got to keep in mind, Giannis is 6'11", and even though he brings up the ball, his technical listed position is still technically power forward, in the same way that LeBron plays point guard, but he's still a small forward.
So if I had to agree with you, yes, Anthony Davis would be 2, Giannis would be 1. So let's clear that up.
Yeah, so because Giannis, I feel he's unmatched on this one. I mean, you look at his ability. I mean, when he came into the league, he was just some lanky, long guy. He was just like a KD, except he couldn't shoot the basketball, and he really couldn't defend that well either. And you look at him, he came into the league around 2013, 2014. You look at him 6-7 years later, and the man is a freak of nature. I mean, he's got the name Greek Freak for a reason. The dude bulked up so much. He evolved his game so much. And I remember looking 2-3 years ago, and we were all looking at Giannis, and he's a phenomenal finisher, phenomenal defender. And it just looked like his only weakness was going to be the jump shot. And we come in last season and even better this season now with his ability to shoot. And he makes you, and it's something that we've wanted to see from a bunch of different players. Like you look at Russell Westbrook and especially Ben Simmons, where it's the guy where you don't have to be able to hit every shot, but you have to make it a threat. You see that's why Giannis is able to have so much success, because he makes his 3-point shot a threat. He makes it so that if you don't step up, it's not going to go in every time, but there is the good chance that it's going to fall. And that just, it opens up the whole offense. The floor spacing becomes so much better. And the whole way the team plays, I think, is better when Giannis is able to play the perimeter.
Agree. All right. Who do you have at number 2 for the center position?
I took Nikola Jokic.
Okay, so I think I know who's your number 1. I personally took Joel Embiid.
At number 2?
Okay, is that your number 1?
Yeah.
Okay, so we got that flip-flop once again.
Okay.
I have Nikola Jokic at number 1. Do you want me to tell you why?
Go ahead.
He's better than Joel Embiid by a lot. You might not agree, but I'm going to tell you the standings on these guys. Joel Embiid, they both average 25. Joel Embiid also averages 2 assists. Jokic averages 10 and more rebounds and more steals. But the standings don't mean anything. It matters about how you play with the IQ of your team and how you are with your opponents and how you can strike against them. Nikola Jokic can shoot, so can Joel Embiid, but Nikola Jokic has definitely a better 3-point shooting than him.
100%.
He grabs a lot of rebounds, and if you watch him in the bubble, he played the guard sometimes.
He does.
He would bring the ball up and play make it.
Mm-hmm.
He's literally a playmaking 3-level paint beast. He's a paint masher, a paint defender, a shooter, and a playmaker. And as a center, coming into a center, that's a small forward shooting guard, point guard's job. And if you're a center running it like that at his height, I think you're doing the best.
Okay. See, I get where you're coming from there, taking Jokic over Embiid, but I'll give you the simple reason why. I get Jokic. He's a way better playmaker than Joel Embiid by far. I completely agree with that, and he's definitely better on the perimeter. But for me, what sells me for Joel Embiid is, for one, it's his paint defense. He's easily the second or third best paint defender in the league. The only guys you're really putting over him, in my opinion, is Rudy Gobert and Mitchell Robinson. Everyone else, I wouldn't personally put over Joel Embiid, but he's a top 3 paint defender in the league. His post game, in my opinion, is far better far better than Nikola Jokic. Nikola Jokic, he gets his little fadeaway and he gets his buckets down low, but that's Embiid's whole game. And for me, obviously Embiid's a little shaky from the three-point line. He only shoots about 34-35%, where Jokic is more in the low 40s. But for me, what really sells me for Embiid is not only his paint defense, his post scoring abilities, which are honestly they're Hakeem Olajuwon-esque with his footwork is phenomenal. And we were just watching the game earlier, and Joel's work, the way he works in the post, he's got the shimmy phase, the drop steps, the spins, and his ability to have a different move every time and be so unpredictable. And what really sold me, the big thing here, is his ability to get to the free throw line. This dude just played against the Boston Celtics. He shot more free throws than their entire team, and this is not a one-time thing. Embiid consistently shoots 17 to 20 free throws in a game. And when you're putting up 35, 40 points, that's about half of your points right there. And he's phenomenal. It's his signature move where you see Embiid, he takes the ball at the three-point line, he pump fakes, and then he gets in the lane, and he gets a lot of fouls. And I think it helps him out, especially in crunch time. If you're struggling to get a bucket, I feel like he's a reliable guy that you can go to when you need points, you know?
Agreed. Definitely agree with that.
All right, any extra notes we want to speak on here?
No, I think our lists were very good, and I'm pleased to do another one.
All right, yeah, for sure. We'll definitely be back. Y'all could drop some in the comments if you want us to talk. I was thinking we could do maybe like the best three-point shooters, the best dunkers, best passers, go through a bunch of stuff like that. And we'll definitely come up with something soon. You guys will definitely be seeing more Squeak on the channel. So, are we done here?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Make sure you guys check out all the socials. They're going to be in the link in the description. Squeak's YouTube will also be in the link in the description. Follow up his Twitch. Follow up my Twitch. All the socials. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.